You ever wonder what it would take for you to become a spiritual millionaire? Think about that for a second and think about the fact that I just combined two words that the world has told you are impossible to combine. And then think about the fact that me mentioning the word millionaire did what it did to your nervous system. Get ready because this conversation is going to be incredible. My friend, Preston, how are you?
Living the dream, man.
It's good to
Living
have you
the dream.
back.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And now, as the author of the book, Spiritual Millionaire.
Yes.
I love that title, by the way. That's a home run.
It's who you are.
That's
It's what I am.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's what's necessary on our planet right now.
Why necessary?
I believe that there is it started with an involution, right? An internal calling, a pull towards something bigger, something greater, something deeper, something more connected. And that involution turns into an evolution. It starts to evolve in our personal lives. And then that evolution then goes to a revolution. And I believe that yourself, myself, and thousands of others have all got the same exact call. And it's not to take ourselves out of the world and to go, meditate on a mountain. It's to be in the world, in the pocket of love, in the world, using the materials of the world and using the laws of the universe to serve humanity. I think that people have gotten really lost and far away from themselves, and there is a distinct response from the universe, from God, if you may, from Mother Nature, if you may, that says, okay, perfect. Back in the day, I sent you a Jesus, I sent you a Buddha. Now I'm sending you an entire community that is going to uplift themselves in such a way that they feel good about driving the Range Rover and meditating.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Both can be equally powerful, just like business. Business and the identity of a businessman and entrepreneur literally was one of the biggest transformations I had to ever take.
Why is that?
Because I was super spiritual. I was the ayahuasca and the transcendental meditation and the I was so identified in this role and this new dogma, and what wasn't in that role and what wasn't in that dogma was experiencing levels of abundance, including finances. Because most people associate abundance and money, but abundance is a state of being. It's a place we live from. And I didn't have those things associated. And so I had to go on a big journey of moving through all the imposter syndrome that was placed in my consciousness from childhood, from being in special needs and special education classes my whole life.
Tell me something, Preston. This is a topic that I really want to go deep into because I don't know how to say it other than it's who I am.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's who I hope to help the world become.
Yes.
Because I think the essence of true spirituality is the discovery of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that in order for you to discover yourself in this world right now in 2024, that is going to require money.
Facts.
I don't care what you think about it. That is the truth.
Yes.
People ask me all the time, they say, how come Awaken isn't free?
Mm-hmm.
And they get mad at me. They say, why is, and then they want to throw a little, well, since when is spirituality costs money?
Yes.
And, my answer to that is when you can go to the Marriott,
mm-hmm.
to the airlines,
yes.
and to the audio video company and convince all of them to give me the room, the flights for my staff, and the video and the audio for you to see and hear me for free, I will gladly give you the ticket for free.
Absolutely. And here's what's tricky about that too, because people have been doing this forever, right? Is somebody will comment on something using $1,000 iPhone.
That's right.
And be like, why isn't this free? And it's like, bro, Is your apartment free?
Right.
Is your iPhone free?
Right.
Were the shoes you're wearing free?
Right.
If not, how dare you take this one-up position as if I'm supposed to, live on the side of the street and give my knowledge away for free. And the truth is it's not spirituality that you're charging for. That's not it. Spirit, there's no place where God isn't.
Yeah.
Right? What you're charging for is all of the work that you had to move through internally, externally, all the nervous system repatterning that you had to move through to be able to take care of your wife and your kids, all the leaps and bounds you took to be a walking, talking, living demonstration of what is possible.
Yeah.
That, man, that information, we can take it all day, right? But it's transformation and demonstration that really make the biggest difference. And people do not understand this. This is straight science, Danny.
That's right.
We co-regulate each other. If I'm in my power and you're in your power, then anybody else in this room, anybody else listening and watching, they're going to receive that, especially if we're in the same room.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I'm in lack, limitation, and scarcity, if I'm in not enoughness, if I'm a victim to the world, and we're in the same room, I'm going to down-regulate you to where I am. So we're paying for
the upgrade.
That.
That's right.
So that we can go give it to our friends and family.
That's right. Absolutely. And it's interesting when you consider this conversation about becoming a spiritual millionaire. First, you have to ask yourself this question, like, where in my life do I expect something for nothing?
That.
Because I was that guy, Preston, that, listen, I love humanity, but I never give $1 to a homeless person on the street. Because if you think about it, the reason why they're homeless and begging for money is because somewhere inside of them, there is an energy, there's a psychology that thinks that they should receive something for nothing. That's why they're there.
Right.
So then by you in giving, you are literally fueling that psychology. So the question for you is, when you think about this type of conversation, is one of two things is going to happen. Either the world is going to change or you have to change.
That part.
That's it. That's it. So when you thought of the terminology spiritual millionaire and you were writing the book, like, who were you speaking to and what is the message that you wanted to give to them?
Yes, this is easy for me. I was speaking to the me 11, 12, 13, 16 years ago. I was speaking to the healers, the light workers, the coaches, the therapists, the people who have medicine on their hearts, who have been carefully bamboozled and socially and historically programmed in such a way that they have success, money, abundance, separate from who they are and what they do. And so I wrote this specifically for the spiritual types, the personal development types, the people who are seekers, who feel the call, but haven't been able to connect the bridge to living in this world and making it okay. Man, I can't tell you, back in the day, I used to think it was such a dirty, bad thing to be rich. And I got to tell you, all my rich friends are so generous. I think it's actually kind of messed up to have all these podcasts and information and to not do anything with it and remain poor. Now, there's two kind of poors. There's poor in spirit and there's poor in bank account, right? I'm talking about both, actually. It is kind of messed up to be as dope as you are and then be poor. Because when I was poor, all I thought about was, how can I get money? How can I get money? And I wasn't in my creativity. I wasn't in my prefrontal cortex. I was in the reptilian brain. I was in fight or flight. I wasn't as openly generous as I am now. And I think that there's a big lie, and there's an idea that there's not enough. I think it's one of the biggest lies that we've all been told. And for all of us who play that game, I just want you to really just think about the ocean. Think about the blades of grass and what happens after you cut them, right? Think about like the air that you breathe on a day-to-day basis. None of us ever even check to see if there'll be another breath, because there's so much more than enough air. And so to me, God, the universe, the quantum field, is always saying yes.
Yeah.
The question is are you saying yes to what is truly handwritten on your soul? Or are you saying yes to what the path that's been placed for you? I'm trying to say this carefully, because I don't necessarily believe in a devil, but I do think that there are people who benefit from us not knowing our power.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. It's interesting when, when you bring up the devil, I believe, sometimes people don't like to hear this, but I believe that the greatest lie ever told is the lie that keeps a human being in a waiting state for someone to come save them. When we all know and can tell just by looking backwards at the millions upon millions of people who waited for nothing, that nothing or no one is coming.
Yeah.
And until you realize this, you are spiritually stuck.
That.
Because you cannot ever live in or tap into the frequency of love, peace, or your own true power if you're waiting for someone else to come bring you the thing that you've always had within you.
Here's the beautiful thing too. I grew up in a Black family, and there was a statement that used to be said to all my friends as well. You'd be crying, and one of my parents would be saying, "Boy, if you don't stop crying, I'm gonna give you something to cry about," right? And it's interesting because the universe sort of works like that, but in reverse, where the more you get that it's available for you, and that beauty is here now, and that joy can be accessed here now, and that there's abundance always occurring, that money is circulating and flowing always. The more we're operating from that space, the universe says, "Oh, I'm gonna give you more of that."
Yeah, that's right.
I'm gonna give you more of that.
That's
and
right.
It's encapsulated in this interesting story. Chris Rock said when he first moved to LA, his car would break down, and he would just sit in the side of the road on the 10 freeway, just waiting for somebody to come help him. And he said nobody would ever come help. And he said after a few months, he realized nobody was coming to help him. So he would get out of his own car and he'd start to push. And every single time he started to push that car, other cars would pull up, jump out, and help him get pushed to a gas station. And to me, that's one of the biggest keys. Faith without works is dead, says the Bible, right? I bow my head and I move my feet. Action is required. Now, the difference, there's two kind of actions. There's empty, lack and limitation action, like, I got to do this because I'm broken. I got to do this because I got to climb to the top of the mountain and prove that I'm not my dad or my mom or X, Y, and Z. And there's action, there's inspired action. There's aligned, committed action. There's the type of action that says, how can I give and bless everybody with this thing that's calling me, right? But this song, this dance, Friedrich Nietzsche said, and those who were seen dancing were called crazy by those who couldn't hear the music. Well, so many of us have heard the music. Danny, you heard the music. You answer the call. And it was so inspiring and so beautiful and so life-affirming and life-giving that the results, the fruit from your tree is so juicy. So to me, this is one of the most important pieces, is push your own car, but push it from, I am blessing humanity with this action, versus I'm going to prove that I'm not. Because that proving energy is empty. And I know a lot of people, self-included, who will get to the top of a mountain from proving, and it feels empty.
Oh yeah, you'll get there, but you would have given up a lot to get there. So I've recently been obsessed with learning about supplements because I found out all of the shady tactics that happen in the industry, like how natural flavors are far from natural, or get this, how some vitamins are derived from GMO corn syrup. I know, it's disgusting. This is why it's so important to trust the company you buy your supplements from. And there's only one company on planet Earth I trust, and that's Kono. I've never seen a higher standard in the industry where literally every single ingredient is ethically sourced with intention. I've been absolutely loving their full body hydrate product. It's the most comprehensive and I think best tasting electrolyte on the planet. It helps my brain function. I feel like it's helping my skin. I feel more hydrated, and overall, I just feel incredible throughout the day when I drink it. But all in all, guys, all of their supplements are incredible. I'm passionate about sharing them with you guys because these guys have your health at heart. Check them out at kononutrition.com/Danny and get 10% off your order. Again, that's kononutrition.com/Danny for 10% off your order. I want to talk about, because let's take this a little bit one step further. To become a spiritual millionaire, there's some things inside of you that have to die.
Mm-hmm.
There's parts of you that have to be let go. There's ways in which you think. There's ways in which you act. There's vibrations you carry that are actually keeping you from becoming a spiritual millionaire,
Yeah.
right? I see it all the time, Preston. I see, like, in many ways, there's like the business community, and they have the money, but they have no heart,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I see the spiritual community,
Mm-hmm.
which has the heart, but doesn't have any money,
Yeah.
right? And what you're talking about doing is bridging both, right? This made me think of something. Inherently, especially you as a Black man, me as a Hispanic, like, one of the things that we had to let go of is this notion that we are a minority.
Mm-hmm.
Because what happens is that if you think of yourself as a minority, what you are carrying is an energy within you, a frequency that says that you are less than. Less than who? Less than someone else. Based off of what? Solely based off of the exterior. And then that means that in default, that you are not valuing what's within.
That.
And you're not connected to what's within. I bring this up because one of the things that I see very often in the Black community, for example, I was at the farmer's market the other day, and this beautiful Black mother was serving these cold pressed juices, and I was like, "Oh, I want me a cold pressed juice." And her son was there, and he was there working, right? And I couldn't help but notice. I noticed this all the time in the way he responded to me. His energy was like this.
Mm-hmm.
He was like looking up, and you know what came out of his mouth? Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, in one aspect, we are taught to use these words out of respect. But if you look deeper, man, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
If you look deeper, like, I felt like saying, don't ever call anyone sir. Don't ever look up to anyone like that, because you don't have to do that, because you're not less than anybody.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that, and talk to me about, like, getting past that energy.
It's big.
It is. Man.
It is big. The thing is it's universal, and from a biology perspective, right? There's a whole bunch of research in epigenetics, and right now what they're saying is that something can be passed down from 3 generations back. It could just be somebody else's, right? It could be your great grandmother's stuff that you're processing. Well, imagine that for an entire culture that's been sold an idea and an identity, right? Even I appreciate this picture right here because we've been sold another idea about what Jesus is and was and looked like. And some people don't understand the ramifications of not seeing yourself over time, and the glorification of the Santa Claus and the whitewashing of something, right? And so I have a deep level of compassion for all humans, but especially those who grew up in a Western world where Hollywood and on history books and on have been pointing to your smallness.
That's right.
Right? Like it's it makes sense that that little boy had that reaction. And to me, it's a big part of why people like yourself and myself are important right now, because it's very difficult to see or to be what you can't see. And so having examples of what is possible is one of the biggest pieces. And going back to it, me, even what I started with, which was, I don't want to say that there's devils, but I do want to say that there are people who benefit from that, people like that little boy believing that he's less than. I recently did, I got this massage from this woman who's like intuitive. And she said, hey, I just have been getting hit after hit about you and the Cushite people of Egypt. She said, do you know who they are? And I said, no. She said, what do you know about Egypt? Well, I said, oh, I know that those noses are missing, right? And I don't think that's an accident. Long story short, the Cushite people were Nubian of black African descent and ruled for thousands of years, right? And yet that's been completely hidden,
wiped,
right?
Yeah, man.
Hidden from us. Not only is it hidden, I don't know who watches this, but I've traveled all over the world, like a lot. And whether it's India or Asia, parts of Asia, really all over the world, a lot of people who are darker get the quote unquote worser end of the stick, right? Like it's people in China and Asia where, you know, they have umbrellas and gloves, and there's people who try to lighten their skin so they don't look like me. And I say all that to say that even with all of that, I'm not a victim.
That's right.
I'm not a victim.
That's right.
And the gift I give back to all of humanity is standing in my kingdom, standing in my sovereignty, standing in my love, standing in my power in such a way that that reverberates out. Here's the deal, right? No, I'm going to stop right there. That's
it, bro.
Not a victim. And it's important that we get shown and reminded of who we are, because we co-regulate each other.
That's right.
Every single one of us was born from a womb inside of a human to hands of other humans. And so if the core wound occurred with humans, then the core healing will occur with humans.
That's right. Yeah. I want to share this. Thank you for that, Preston. I want to share this. I was in Costa Rica. I had just finished, you know, the last ceremony of 3 ayahuasca ceremonies. I'm in a car and I got this download where what you said is so true. You see, we've only been fed one aspect of the past, of history, right? I believe that what actually happened was 200,000-300,000 years ago. I don't know if it was the aliens. I don't know who it was, but they came in and they wiped everyone's memory, and so that we could be easily controlled. Well, in this journey, it was a moment, it was a period in my life that doesn't happen as much now, right? Thank God, because I couldn't sleep when it was happening.
Yeah.
I got this download clear as day that actually the truth is that African Americans or dark colored people were actually the chosen people, right? And in that moment, when I saw that, I thought like I was being shown some information that isn't available to humanity. Preston, I thought I was going to drop dead in that moment right there. Like there was something inside of me that felt like, because you now know this, you got to go, because this is not available to be known. Right. And in essence, what I now see was happening was I was seeing how what we have been told to believe about everything, listen, if it separates you, meaning you believe in one God and they believe in another, that shit is a lie. It's a lie, flat out, because there can't be two. We humans have created hundreds.
Yes.
Right? Let's take it a step further. If you believe that you are greater than or less than because you make more money, or
Yes.
because you have a different body part, or because you are prettier than, that shit is a lie.
That.
You cannot possibly live in peace or in love thinking that. Let's take it a step further. If you think you are better than or worse than someone because of the color of your skin, it's a lie. You can't possibly know God. I don't care how many times you go to church. You can't possibly know God because that is the fabric of separation.
Yes.
And God is love. It is the very opposite of that thing.
That.
So every time you go to church and you think that you know something because your God is the right God and their God is the wrong God, guess what you are? That's Crips and Bloods. That's Republican and Democrat.
Yes, it is.
And every time you think that by you doing something the right way, you're going to get a gift that you get to enter heaven someday, guess what that is? That's Santa Claus. It's the same exact thing. It's the same vibration. It's the same frequency. It is a program of control that has been programming you your entire life. And it's time for you to wake up to the reality of the truth that we are all the same. And anything that I can do or you can do too. That's it.
Oh man, you're knocking it out the park. I'm just gonna add that in my experience, just adding to this, we've been sold an idea that God has a personality, right? That it's this naughty or nice Santa Claus God that sits in the sky and blesses some and doesn't bless others. And how I like to describe God and the quantum field is that it's like electricity. Electricity is everywhere, whether you see it or not. And it never says no. Electricity says game on if you have the infrastructure. If you got the infrastructure to plug up this iPhone, go for it. You got the body, the infrastructure to plug up this Tesla, go for it. You got the body and the infrastructure to plug up this city, go for it. That's the game you and I are playing. It's a part of what I wrote in the book. It's one of the first laws, which is the law of yes. And the big piece in all of it is, do you have the infrastructure, the somatic body, right? If you and I went to a gym right now and there was a 300-pound dumbbell or something, more than likely, neither one of us could pick it up. But if I went to the gym 6 months, 9 months, and kept working on the body to pick that up, game on. That is what is occurring across the board for anything, because the quantum field just says yes. The same power, one power, not two, not three, not seven. I agree with you. One power. The same power that Hitler used, Gandhi used. The same power that Martin Luther King used, Obama used. Danny uses. Preston's using right now. There's no time when we're not manifesting. There's no time when the power says no. And its version of, this is how I see it, God is love. And the love part isn't from a personality perspective, right? We try to make everything fit into our like man-made ideas.
That's the only way that it can make sense for us.
Right? It's a jealous God and it wants you to get on your knees every day and I need you, right? Would you have your daughter date a dude like that?
Say that again, please.
Right?
No, never. Would you have anyone that you love do that? Would you have anyone that you love stop and only follow you and only you? Because if they don't, they're going to go to hell. No, that is not called love. That is called the ego. And only your ego can vibrate at the same frequency as the ego. So when you drop into your heart, guess what? The game's over. And that's your deepest fear.
We've been so trained out of it that the truth of our beingness is foreign to us. We see it, right? People seek it. They seek it in food. They seek it in sex. They seek it in getting another high of something because they want to feel God's love. They want to feel their own power. So we go watch another Netflix show, or we swipe for a few more hours, or we hit some type of drug, or we go have some sex, or we jack off to porn, or whatever it is. But the truth is like that is your natural state. When somebody says abundance is your birthright, when I say abundance is your birthright and your natural state, it's not a joke. All you have to do is look at kids that aren't traumatized. Look at a 2-year-old, look at a 3-year-old, look at a 4-year-old who isn't traumatized and see how they operate. See where their baseline of living is. We've been programmed and conditioned away from that and into separation. And so the love that I perceive that is God, it doesn't care. It doesn't have a personality. It doesn't have an agenda. If it did, it would just go, boom, you're done. It goes, play. Right? It's like I went into the woods for 8 days and 4 of those by myself, 2 gallons of water, no tent, just in the woods. And there was these different ant mounds everywhere. And I kept having these revelations and of like, we're just like this, right? If a branch falls on that mound, some of them will die. Some of their stuff will get knocked over, right? They can have fancy ant mounds and put Ferrari ant mounds and different stuff. And they can have Gucci, leaves that they sit on and whatever the case may be, but it's still an ant mound.
Right.
And they think they're so important inside of their own ant mound. And then there's another one right there. And then there's the spiders and then the lizards and the birds and it's this entire ecosystem. And if I just walk by and step on it, here today, gone tomorrow. So we can dress this thing up. But if you're not really full, right, this is why a spiritual millionaire is different than just a millionaire. A spiritual millionaire is in his gender non-binary heart. A spiritual millionaire is so embodied. Most people are dysregulated. They're in hyper arousal, anger, gotta make stuff happen, or they're in a hypo arousal where they're depressed and sad and everything's messed up. And a regulated, and to be embodied means I'm right here. I'm right here. What's here? Ooh, an abundance of air. What's here? Oh my God, this chair? Yes. Right? I can use hands. I can touch my face. Like there's so much here that we miss. And so I have my students all the time. I say, we're actually really going to count our blessings often. Because we say that, count your blessings. But like, what if you did often? And then you let it land in your body. Everything right now that we know is that everything is vibrating. From a scientific perspective, everything is vibrating. And vibrations find each other. So if I'm counting my blessings daily, letting it land in my heart and my body, I'm not believing that I'm some shameful sinner that needs to repent for my existence.
You could.
Yes.
That's free to you. That's available to you.
Yes. And it's a vibration.
That's right.
It's a vibration, right? And here's y'all, everybody gets to keep their God.
Yeah.
If you have the Christian God, fantastic. You have Allah, fantastic. You have Krishna, fantastic. What I'm teaching and talking about in this book is all those gods are welcomed. And I don't believe that God stopped speaking in a book. I don't believe that the only transmission from God Almighty is just the Bible. I think that all of us are divinely guided to walk each other back home to the self. And Awaken and everything you do here is a part of that. And birds of a feather flock together. We find each other. We have our different crews and we fly together and we get close and we go far away, but it's still the same frequency.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same remembrance. It's the same reminder, which is love is all there is, was, and ever will be.
That's right.
Always. That's what's true for me. So helping people level up their abundance, helping people regulate their nervous system, helping people understand how to use the laws of the universe to call in more of what they truly desire and to live a life of design versus default. All of that is the underpinnings of all of it is my truth, which is love, is all there is, was, and ever will be. Yeah, that's what I'm doing here, man.
That's right.
And I think that's what you're doing here.
Not that you don't have to think.
I know.
That's just, yeah.
Yes.
That's it. In order to not miss these episodes or the weekly clips that we provide that will help you in the 3 energies of human mastery, how to change your financial life, how to change your relationship life, and how to heal yourself physically, emotionally, and spiritually, make sure to subscribe right now to the channel. Trust me, it'll be the greatest decision and action you take today, because the value we are committed to bringing you is going to be life-changing. Go ahead and subscribe right now. And you know what's interesting, Preston? It's like, if you're listening to this, how is it that we both essentially are saying the same things? Like, you didn't go to school for this. I didn't go to school for this. You didn't get a certificate for this. I didn't get a certificate for this, right? But how is it that not only we, but like so many people today are saying the same thing? Quite frankly, if you actually were there 2024 years ago, I think it's the same thing he said. It's the same thing he said. And I'm going to tell you something right now. I'm going to tell you, I guarantee you, what he didn't say is wait for me. That is a guarantee. That, by the way, you don't have to have faith in or belief in me. You can go discover that on your own. Go into the woods for 8 days.
Yes.
Go drink the drink. When you're ready for the truth is there. And the truth does not require belief. And so if we are sitting here telling you not only the same thing, that love is all there is, but that you can become a spiritual millionaire. You can literally live the life of your dreams. I don't care what's going on with you. I don't care if you're sick. I don't care if you're going through a divorce. I don't care if the bills are piled up like they once were for me, like they once were for you, right? What we are both telling you is that is just a reflection of what's been going on inside of you. And if you can heal and work on what's been going on inside of you, and then release it from your body, right? This is what you help people do. This is what I help people do. Then guess what? You literally get upgraded. You get upgraded as a human being. You level up to a new frequency. Well, when you level up to a new frequency, guess what happens? The things that comes to people that live in that frequency, they become available to you too. That's it.
Dude, it's simple in concept and not always easy for people. And this is why it's important to get books like the one I wrote.
100%.
To listen to podcasts.
100%.
To put your money where your mouth is. I'll just give you a little backstory. At 33, I was broke, and I had a moment where I pulled up to an Exxon Mobil on La Brea in my beat up Prius, and I knew I had $8 in my account. And I was like, I'm just going to put $4 in. And I'm sitting there putting $4 in my beat up Prius. And I just had this moment where I was like, you're 33. You will have a heart of gold, and you are broke as hell. Something's off. So I called my mom and I asked for help. I said, hey, I don't got it. I need help. I've been operating from ego, making you and everybody else think everything is good. It's not good. Something's off. Can I come home? My mom said yes. I went home and I made a decision that all the money that I would bring in from teaching surf lessons and modeling and whatever else I was doing, I was working at Abercrombie and Fitch earlier between that, I was going to put it into buying into other people's places, into their programs. Because I understood that there were people like yourself and myself who had already walked the path. That's what changed everything for me. Right? We hear the words proximity is power, but do we really understand the depths of what that actually means? Right?
You literally, you come to Awaken, you read the book, you come to your workshop. people, please listen to me. I
Mhm.
cannot express how true this is. You literally download the codes
Yes.
that you need to unlock your mind, your heart, your body, your soul to get you what you want in life.
That. And okay, this is going to be a little tricky and a little controversial.
Oh, then I love it.
I think that there are some people in our industry who want the people in their audience to believe that they are better than them. And I just want to caution everybody out there to really tune into, from a vibrational standpoint,
That's right.
is this person somebody I can really get behind and follow? Or is this somebody who's trying to make me believe and follow them from the space of I'm the guru and you're the devotee? Because there is a huge difference. I've been in the space a long time, and I've been in rooms and spaces where people 100% want me to win and will give me as much as they possibly can and lift me up. And I've been in rooms where people do not want me to actually win. They want to keep me as an addict. They want me to keep coming back and buying and buying and buying and buying and never having enough and always believing that they're better than me.
That's right.
And so you are, and I'm just going to say this, you're watching two people who are super grounded, super loving. Neither one of us believes that we're better than anyone, any of you. In my opinion, the universe, God, has never made a throwaway human like it's never made a throwaway leaf. It's all perfection. It's all God's reflection. Just some of us forget who and what we really are.
That's it. And the whole process is remembering. That's it. That's it. And the more you remember, and you know what, Preston? I'm gonna speak on something right now that I think you're gonna love. You know what I'm realizing about both you and I, as quote unquote like minorities, you know, which obviously eliminate that. There's no such thing. We both ended up with our dream girl.
Yes, that.
And can I say this? And this is for all of you who are having, you know, issues in relationship, broken hearts, like I'm sure both of us have had, right? I really believe that that is a reflection of where we were able to get in our own heart space.
Yes.
And it's the same as money.
Yes. That.
There's no difference, guys. There's no difference. I promise you. I promise you. I wish you could be inside of me to feel how true that is.
It's true. What he's saying is true, which is why I'm getting excited. It's literally all the same thing. Once you get it, right? It's the idea of a rising tide lifts all ships, right? Once you figure out that the consciousness and the energy and the power that you possess, and you really sit in it, not from above, but from width, not power over, power with, right? When you operate from that space and you get it right here, you automatically get it in all the other places.
That's right.
Right? It just bleeds into every other area of your life. And my wife is, yes, it's the as above, so below, as within, so without, right? It's the if I dance in front of the mirror has to do the exact dance that I'm doing, but I got to go first, right? So, okay.
I never heard that.
Yes.
That was great.
I
That was
see.
great.
Right. So it's the understanding that spirit can only do for us what it can do through us.
Yeah.
Right. And you know, I say this all the time. We can't have what we want, but we may experience what we have. So, okay, I can't have what I want, because when I'm in wanting, I can only get more of that, but I can experience what I have. Okay, so what am I having right now? This is why I have my clients do the joy alarms. This is why, for me, before I ever met Alexi, I could feel her in consciousness. That's the whole game. Offer the vibration. Here's the other thing that most people don't understand. Manifestation does not occur in a fulfilling way until you're good with or without it.
That's right. That's why I say you'll never find real love until you can understand that the real love is within, and that you actually are okay with being by yourself for the rest of your life. That's the game.
People are needy, right? And we see this all the time. You start dating somebody, texting back and forth, and then they're like, what are you doing? How you doing? Where you at? And you feel the claws, and it makes you want to back up.
That's right.
Well, everything is vibration. So if you have your claws in money and you need it all the time and you're thinking about it all the time and it's from lack and scarcity and I need, money's listening.
Yeah.
Just like everything else is. It's all responding. We know that plants have consciousness. They respond. So if a plant can respond, then so can the entity, the energy of money. It's all circulating like everything else in this room. It's all circulating. And I'm going to share one more thing that I think is super important that people need to know about manifestation and money. So for me, this shirt, that shirt, this microphone, this couch was always going to be ours. And so is all the other materials and money that's going to flow through my bank account. 30 years from now, there'll be money flowing through my bank account. It's already mine now. So for those of you who feel and sense, something's calling me, well, what you want wants you. What you seek is seeking you. This shirt, which is from India, the dye, the buttons, the person who made it, all of us had a date with destiny. We had a divine appointment. And so I will wear and use this shirt to the best of my ability right here, right now. And one day it'll be trash or belong to someone else.
That's right. Yeah.
The same is true for every manifestation on the planet. It's all transitory. It's all moving, shifting, and changing. And if you can take the needy hook out and receive the download of what's next in your space, then it becomes effortless, right? There's a circulation of flow, right? This phone was always going to be my phone.
Mm-hmm.
And I had no extra energy around it. I'll dance, we'll play. And then at some point, this phone will go back to where it wants to go.
Yeah, I love that.
Right? No energy around any of it. I treat my G-Wagon the same way I treat my bike. I treat my favorite pair of shoes the same way I treat a pen that I use. It's just materials. And it wants to be imbued and used like everything else. Somebody's got to drive a G-Wagon. Why not me? Yes, yes, let's go.
I love that. How do people get the book?
PrestonsMiles.com/book. If you're following me on Instagram or YouTube, you can find it there as well.
Preston Smiles as well?
Yes.
Beautiful. And I hear you have a podcast coming.
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Nice.
Yes. I'm going to have you on my podcast.
Let's do it. I think it's going to be great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, man. You were the first guest ever.
Yes.
On the Higher Self, by the way.
Yes.
This is beautiful.
Yes.
This is a beautiful moment. And I appreciate everything that you're doing. And just so you guys know, not only do I guard who comes here, but for me to endorse anybody, I don't really do that. And we actually have had Preston and Alexi at our inner circle intensives to do their work. So I would entrust them with all of you. Whatever they do, go for it, because there's going to be some definite learning that you do, some downloading of codes that you do. And I think you should start with the book. So go to PrestonsSmiles.com/book and get ready to become a spiritual millionaire. We'll see you next week on another episode of The Higher Self.